Yeah, so obviously we did not play our best tonight. Very undisciplined on the defensive side of the ball. Offense can really get things going, but, got a tough slate ahead of us, got to bounce back and really put our head down and figure out who we are as a team.
Did it really just come down to kind of they got out a little bit faster than you guys?
They got out faster, and we just couldn't get off the field on third down. Defensively, we'd get them to 3rd and 10, and then they'd either get a shot play or we'd have a penalty, and we just can't have that. So, especially against a talented team like that, we got to play our best, and we did not do that tonight.
What does it say about you guys after, obviously it's been a long off season, a lot of work. How do you guys kind of bounce back from this and go into next week?
Yeah, I mean, we had a great off season. The whole team was very committed, heads down. I feel like we're more of a team than we've ever been. And it's really we're gonna have to test ourselves to see who we really are. And I think we will bounce back. Have a big game next week, so in Utah.
Nate, what was the biggest challenge that your team saw defensively taking on Cal Poly tonight?
Third downs. We couldn't get off field on third downs and penalties. That's just unacceptable.
You had a career high 12 tackles tonight. I don't know if you knew that, but what were you seeing defensively from your position?
We knew they were going to try to run a lot of counter, a lot of gap scheme, and they did that, especially in the second half. And I feel like we played that pretty well. Had our moments in the run, we flashed, but I feel like as a kind of a young linebacker core, we got to be more consistent.
What was that like facing two different quarterback schemes? You faced one quarterback, and then you had that switch a little later in the game.
Yeah, we didn't know who they were going to go with pregame, so we kind of prepped for both of them. We knew one was a guy who could run a little bit, and we knew Seven had a big arm, and they both played well.
Seen from the sidelines, going into halftime, what was it like seeing that touchdown?
That was huge. I mean, we needed that. We were getting our butt kicked, and then we got a little spark of life right there.
What was it like seeing the crowd tonight?
It was a great crowd. That was probably the highlight of the night. Appreciate all the fans coming out and supporting. And we'll bounce back for them next week.
Josh with All Around World Sports. There was a buzz in the stadium, at kickoff, and Cal Poly kind of went down to that first drive and scored. Can you speak of the mindset of the defense as kind of how the game started towards the end?
Yeah, I mean, mindset was obviously we want to go in there and shut them out, shut them down, and they got off to a hot start. I feel like we rallied really in the second quarter, third quarter, kind of fell apart there at the end. But I'm proud of the way we fought, and hopefully we can piece a whole game together next week.
Yeah. How do you guys kind of bounce back for next week with Southern Utah?
We're going to have to get in the film room. We're going to have to practice hard.
All right, Dom, kind of just initial reactions from the game tonight.
For myself, disappointing. I was 19 of 30 passing. That's not something that I feel like I did good enough for myself. Overall, as a team, I feel like we're also disappointed. We come out and we get blown up at home first game of the year, open up with the big stands, and that's something that we didn't want to do. We obviously want to come out with the win. But yeah, just probably disappointed and frustrated with ourselves, I would say.
When it is an up-tempo team and both teams being up-tempo, when they get off to a big lead like that, how hard is that? Because it kind of gets on you guys quickly, right?
Yeah, it does, but it shouldn't be hard at all, especially being, like you said, up-tempo ourselves. We should be able to bounce back and do whatever we need to do first play of the game, just like how they were doing. So, I take that on the chin as well, going out. I got to score in the first drive of the game just like they did. So.
There's a lot of guys who get recruited to San Diego, and there's a lot of guys that get recruited to Cal Poly out of San Diego. You ran against guys that you played with in high school and played against in high school. How cool was it to kind of share the field with them again?
That was great, especially Brian Dukes. That's my boy from high school. Trying to attack him as well. That brother feeling. So Victor Johnson as well. Seeing him come off the edge. He hasn't tackled me in high school, so he finally got one today.
And then how do you guys bounce back heading into next week?
The film room, really. I feel like we had a lot of mistakes, especially on my end. I saw different coverages during the week that I really wasn't prepared for, so that's something that I need to do better with myself. Getting in with the receivers as well, and then obviously block up front. So.
Dom, what did you kind of see that the first couple of quarters? You know that we had a couple of 3-and-outs, but what were you seeing from the defense? What was the biggest challenge that you saw?
They threw a lot of man coverage at us. I feel like during the week we kind of saw that a lot on third down, not really normal down distance, first and second down, and then a lot of quarters as well. That's something that we should have been prepared for. And like I said, I should be prepared for everything. It doesn't matter if we see 3 the whole week on film, or we see coverage 0 the whole week. I got to be prepared for every coverage that's thrown at me.
It looks like as the game going on, you started throwing the ball more. What were you seeing then, getting those short passes out to your receivers?
Soft and off, really. Single side, giving my guys a chance instead of just letting Matt run up in front of the O-line and get hit every single play. Pitch it out to to the receivers, let them make a play one-on-one.
What was it like getting that touchdown going into halftime?
That was electric. I feel like it really gave us a boost going into halftime. We came out, put a good drive together, coming out of the half, kicked the field goal. Obviously, we want to score in the red zone, but we had to kick a field goal and settle with that. So putting points on the board was really electric for us.
Hey Dom, Josh Hall around World Sports. 19 for 30 on the night. What can we do for next week to kind of bounce back and improve?
Find easier throws. I feel like that's something that I didn't do for myself. I feel like there was times that, I was looking at just one-on-one too much, trying to give my guys a shot where there's an easier throw underneath. So yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing for me.
And looking at the box score, 5 sacks. Was it something that the defense was throwing that you maybe didn't see on film? Were they kind of throwing in different coverages and different looks that were maybe, disguising as other things?
Yeah, I mean, every team would throw in some crazy coverages, especially disguising it. They did a really good job with the two shell, and that was something that we didn't really see during the week. We saw a lot of one high, but like I said, that's a lot on my fault. Being prepared for mainly one high and then coming out and seeing a lot of two high. That's something that I got to do better with.
Dom, one more I got. It was like seeing Adam Beeble, hasn't been a running back, he's been a receiver in the past, but it was like seeing him get that long rushing touchdown.
That was huge for us. It was electric, especially, coming off of a 3-and-out drive, I believe, going into the fourth quarter, handing it off to him and watching him run. That was big for us, gave us life.
Is that the first Hail Mary you've ever completed?
Yeah, it really is.
What was the feeling like when you saw him come down with it?
That was crazy. Really, coach was like, you want to do it? And I was like, why not? So at the end of the half, we got to go in. We haven't scored all day, so, it was really big for us to do that.
What's kind of the initial reactions after the game?
Oh, it was a tough loss. I think we got punched in the face all day. Anytime we got the momentum to kind of try to swing in our direction, we shot ourselves in the foot with a penalty or some bonehead play. I think we're a young team, but that's no excuse. I think that we got to be a lot more disciplined in order to win big-time games like this.
Week one of any college football team, it's always kind of like you never know what you're going to get from your guys. How hard has it been when they get out to such an early lead like that?
Well, Cal Poly came out and did an incredible job. I don't think this was the same team that we saw last year in any stretch. Quarterback was a better player than they had last year, and I think that the group as a whole played a lot more discipline and made a lot less mistakes than they did the previous year.
With an up-tempo team, it kind of feels like the defense is always on their heels, even if they get like a 3-yard stop. How then critical is those penalties when they happen?
Oh, they're crucial. I mean, penalties in and of themselves are gonna hurt you. But I think that we gave them more than we should have. Offense and defense, both sides of the ball, Poly did a great job. But anytime that we gave ourselves something favorable, we gave it right back with a penalty. We gave it right back with some off-the-wall celebration or pass interference or things like that. I mean, it just as a non-scholarship football team playing a scholarship team, you've got to play disciplined football and you've got to play to a level outside of yourself. And I don't think we did that on a consistent enough basis today.
Yeah, this is the first year Dom's been given the keys to the offense. What was kind of your reaction to the way he played tonight?
Well, I thought he fought, man. I did. I didn't ever see him rattled back there. I didn't ever see him not in control. He didn't always make the best decisions, but I thought he went out and fought hard.
Is there any positives to take away from tonight?
Well, Coach Longtime told me that there's nothing positive you can gain from a loss. I think we take this thing one game at a time, one step at a time, and we're going to move on and try to get after Southern Utah next week.
Brandon, what was it like preparing for two different styles of quarterbacks? You had the one guy that was 6'6", and then you had the other that was more of a run type quarterback.
Well, I think I think the starter did an excellent job dealing the ball, distributing the ball, putting them in favorable situations, and not being careless with the football. We're a defense that prides ourselves on turnovers. We pride ourselves on third downs, and they capitalized on both elements this year. Didn't turn the ball over once, and they were over 500 on third down, which is unacceptable for our defense. And ultimately, it helped them come out with the win.
How much did it kind of help them, a little bit of energy going into halftime with the Hail Mary?
Well, I mean, the offense in and of itself is an offense that likes to distribute the ball, likes to throw the ball, push the ball down the field. You know, the play before half was great. I think it just shows our players' ability to fight when the chips are down and fight, you know, as the game went on. I mean, I don't think that they ever quit. I would never question or challenge their effort throughout the game. So, I mean, it was great to see those guys rally in that moment when we didn't have a whole lot of things going in our direction.
The other big positive play was Adams' rushing touchdown. I believe it was his first career rushing touchdown as well. What did you see from that play with the blocks being able to open him up to get that long score?
Well, I thought he did an incredible job. I think Adams' speed is definitely something we need to try to exploit a little bit more. Find ways to get him the ball. But it was awesome seeing him take the rock from the backfield and take it to the house. That was great.
For Dom, what do you think kind of the biggest, you think about last year, I think it was, or not 2 years ago, kind of lost that starting job to Grant, but what do you think is kind of you saw from Dom that he can kind of take away from this week going in the rest of the year?
He needs to trust himself a little bit more, trust his feet, trust his coordinator. Dom's young, even though this is his third year here. I mean, he doesn't have a ton of starts, and I think he's just going to get better as the season goes on.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach Joshua, All Around World Sports. What did you learn about your team today?
I think that we're a talented team. I think overall we're a very, very young team, and I think that showed up. Those penalties and those moments when we make a good play and then we turn it right back over. We do something crazy to mitigate it. I mean, ultimately, I think we're a young team, but we're a team with a lot of fire. I think we've got good leadership, but we've still got a long way to go.
You guys started 0 to 24. Then we had the Hail Mary play at the half, and it was 17 to 27. At what point did you think it kind of got away from you guys, or how did it kind of get away from you guys into the game, 17 to 41?
Well, after I don't think ever. I'm not a guy who ever concedes or ever thinks that there isn't a chance. Mathematically, I think we were out of it somewhere in the fourth quarter. But we're always a team, and we're always a group that's going to fight and go out and give our best effort.
You briefly spoke about it. 7 flags for 91 yards, 4 for 14 on third down. How do we clean that up for next week?
You heard it from the players, but just preparation. Being prepared for those big moments, whether it's the film room, or whether it's being more disciplined in practice, or whether it's challenging them more. I think the preparation that we put into it is going to have to improve.
I kind of asked Dom kind of the same question. There was a buzz here in the stadium, and that first touchdown from Cal Poly kind of took that buzz out. Do you kind of agree with that? How was it on the sidelines? Was it the energy kind of up with the guys? Kind of, hey, let's get after it.
Well, I thought the crowd was through the ebbs and flows of the entire game. I thought they were in it. I mean, they celebrated every big play we had, every big moment we had. I think that we heard our crowd, and I think that was essential and needs to continue at the University of San Diego.
And to kind of piggyback off of that, like you said, Southern Utah, you're still back at home. The fans are going to show up. Collectively as a whole, coaching staff, players, you kind of briefly touched on it, getting back into the film. Is there anything else that you guys kind of need to prepare to get ready for next week, kind of clean up?
Well, it's another opportunity, and like I said previously, I think we're a very, very young team, and I think the more we put them in the fire, the better they're going to get. I think we're going to be a team that improves throughout the year.
You guys were running the ball pretty strongly. Did kind of take some shots down the field vertically. Was the game plan approach on the offensive side to kind of stay balanced, or was it kind of what the defense gives us type of approach?
Well, we're always going to want to take what the defense gives us, but every offense wants to be balanced. We want to establish some type of a run game in order to supplement the pass game. So, but tackling on our defensive side of the ball wasn't very good, and I think that a 2 or 3 yard gain turned into a 10 or 11 yard gain just from missed tackles or not getting them on the ground. So as a coach, I think I need to provide more opportunities for my guys to tackle and provide more opportunities to put them in that type of situation.